Tomoy, good day. Tomoy, you hearing me? Microphone test. Maybe you're not at your machine.
Hello, sir.
Oh, you're here. Hello. We'll start in a few. Don't mind, wait on Tariq. Tariq in him, right?
I think so, yes, sir. Supposed to wait on him.
Wait on him? Mhm.
Tyreek?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So you're saying yes, wait on him?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. I shall wait. So that means you can wait on him and tell him to come. Wait, where did I say? Well, you're going to message him and tell him to come. Is that what I said?
Yes, sir. I'm going to message him and see what's happening for him.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
I don't want to really wait too long, so we'll start at 6:15. But I guess you can still let me know if you hear from him. Don't mind.
He said he's on his way, sir.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. I guess Terry can join. Can just join him join. Hmm. All right, ready? I guess start. All right. So, right on Tuesday, we had gone through the seven fundamentals or the seven fundamental concepts of systems integration. The seven that we covered were continuous integration. We covered enterprise application integration, that's EAI. We did integration platforms. We did the ICC, which is the Integration Competency Center, systems integrators, and cloud-based, oh no, cloud-based integration. We did one more, interoperability. All right. Um, we also did the activity near the end of the class, where we name the concept, right? So I would have given you a scenario, and then you tell me the name of the concept I'm describing based on the scenario. And for the most part, in talking to you, you did pretty well, the both of you. The last two at the very end caused some confusion. And you know what? I don't blame you because I was also a little bit confused because the scenarios I was giving you, they were pretty similar in my opinion. And so we'd get cases where when the answer is EAI, you would say systems. What was it again? Integration platforms. And when the answer was integration platforms, you'd say EAI. And I don't blame you. So here's what we're going to do. With those two that cause confusion, what I want to do is I want to see if I can do a little bit of reinforcement so that we can get back on track with the content so that we know exactly. Let me see. Yeah. Do some reinforcement with the concept, those two concepts in particular, so that we can nail down the difference between the two so that if we do any more activities like that, we won't get those wrong. That's all right? Tell me if that's cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So yeah, the two that we're going to focus on are EAI and integration platforms. Okay, so let's start off with the difference. The simplest way to explain it is EAI is the what and the why. And then the integration platform is the how. It is the answer to how. EAI is the business strategy. It's the decision that says we want our enterprise applications to be connected. We want data to flow automatically between our HR system, our accounting system, the CRM. I think last class I had said CRM, but I didn't stop to make sure that we understood what CRM was. I don't know if you guys are, oh, Tariq here. Yeah. So, Tariq, since you're here, what I said I was going to do is, since we had closed off last class with the difference between, well, were you doing that small activity where we named the concepts based on the scenario that I described? And all three of us, you, me, and Demoy, had issues spotting the difference between EAI and integration platform. So I said we're going to do some a little bit of reinforcement so that we understand it a little bit better before we move on. So yeah, what I was saying a while ago is we start off with the definition of what EAI is, firstly. Um, so yeah, EAI is a business strategy. It's the decision that comes from having the statement being, we want our enterprise application to be connected. So say, for instance, in your enterprise, you want to have the data flow automatically between the HR system through to accounting, through to CRM. You want one software that would be able to track all the customer interactions. By the way, CRM, I was specifying that CRM is the customer relationship management. Yeah. So if at any point you hear me say CRM, that's a customer relationship management. So you want a system that would allow you to connect, or not connect, but have data flow from one system to the other, right? So that is what EAI is. It's a goal or a vision. And it's an idea of how the organization should work, right? So think of it as just the idea or the plan. While integration platform now, that is actually a specific piece of software. It's a software product. It's the software itself that you use to actually make the vision happen. So EAI is just the idea, is a strategy or a concept. Integration platform is the actual physical, not physical, but the actual product itself that implements EAI essentially. So I'll give you some oh, and you know what too? I would have gone through a few different, I think there were integration platforms, but I didn't really give you any kind of information on them. But I think I'm supposed to have in my notes some information on each one of them so that in the event that you see me name these applications like MuleSoft, I'd have mentioned MuleSoft a lot last class, but I didn't really talk much about what it is. I just called the name and expected you guys to know about it. But I should be able to give you some more information on them so that it's maybe easier to understand or easier to associate the term with the concept. Okay, so let's see, where was I? So yeah, integration platform is a specific piece of technology that you use to make the vision happen. So let me give you some real names so that there aren't abstract ideas. So MuleSoft is one of the biggest. It's a cloud-based platform owned by Salesforce. I think I'd mentioned Salesforce a few times in class as well. So Salesforce is the company that produces the application called MuleSoft. And it's the world's largest CRM company. And I said CRM is customer relationship management. MuleSoft specializes in connecting applications and transforming data between formats. Another application that we could use in integration platforms is Azure Integration Services, which is owned by Microsoft. It's built into their Azure cloud platform. And I think I'd made mention of cloud platforms in the past where I talked about Azure cloud platforms, Amazon Web Services, and Google also has what do you call it? GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, I think. So yeah, Azure Integration Services is owned by Microsoft and it's built into the Azure Cloud Platform. So if a company already uses Microsoft products, it's often their go-to in terms of integration platforms since they're already in the Microsoft ecosystem. IBM Integration Bus is IBM's offering. It's been around for decades, and you'll find it in large banks and government systems for the most part. And then another one that I'd mentioned was Apache Kafka, Kafka. Apache Kafka is a bit different in that it's open source. And I'd imagine that you guys would have come across open source in your studies. So Apache Kafka is open source, meaning it's free, and it's designed specifically for streaming massive volumes of data in real time. Companies like Netflix and Uber use Kafka to process millions of events per second. These are all integration platforms. So they do the actual routing, transforming, and the monitoring from one application or from one system to another. That good? Clear on that? Give me some yeses in the chat.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool.
Yes, sir.
Cool. So here's the key. You can't have a useful integration platform without some kind of EAI strategy. And you can't achieve EAI without some kind of platform or tool to make it work. The two of them, they go together, but they're different things. I'm going to give you 3 different angles on this to hopefully make it stick. The first angle. So look at it as a job interview. If somebody asks you, in the job interview, you're going to ask, does your company, this isn't a job interview, doesn't make sense. Anyway, in the job interview, somebody going to ask you, does your company do EAI? They're actually asking whether your business applications are connected and share data. But now if somebody asks you, what integration platform do you use? They're asking about the specific software tool. So it's different questions and you can give 2 different answers. The second angle, think about transformation. EAI is like saying we need a public transit system so people can get around the city. That's the strategy. But the integration platform is the actual bus fleet, the routes, the schedules, the GPS tracking system. So you need the strategy first. And then from the strategy, you pick out the tools to execute it. Yeah. And the third angle, again, put it in terms that we've already used. So remember the four types of integration from the first session? Horizontal integration uses a middleware as a central hub. EAI is the business reason that you choose horizontal integration. Because you want the enterprise apps connected. The integration platform is the middleware product that you buy that builds the central hub. So tell me, with that in mind, the distinction make a little bit more sense? Can you tell me yes or no?
To be honest, sir, I'm still kind of confused with the topics.
Hmm. Okay, all right, no problem. I have some examples, and hopefully by the end, can you tell me, uh, give me an idea of what is causing the confusion? Is it just that the two
Uh,
of them still sound the same?
yes, sir, them just kind of similar. Cause like when I
Mm.
would, last class where you were doing the questions and you like the
Mm-hmm.
scenarios,
Mm-hmm.
I'd say them both have the similarities.
Mm-hmm. All
But
right,
I
all right,
understand, what you explain here, but them just have the similarities, you just might get confused once in a while with them.
all right. Let me see if I can think of an analogy for you. Um, if you are hungry, what do you need to do to solve this
Oh,
problem? Hunger is the problem. If you're hungry,
yeah.
what do you need to do?
Need
I'll
food.
find something to eat.
Find something to eat, right? So that's the idea, that's the strategy, that's the concept. When you're hungry and somebody asks you, what you're going to eat, what are you going to tell them?
Food.
No, man, give me a food, call a food name.
All right. Rice and chicken.
Rice and chicken. Good. All right, cool. So the difference between those two things, one, you're just telling me what the plan was in order to solve this problem. The plan was you're going to eat food. But then I want to
Uh,
ask you what you're going to do, what you're going to eat. You tell me you're going to eat rice and chicken. So in this case, EAI is the concept, is the idea. Is me saying I have a plan that I want to get data to route from one system to another. I need my company to be more efficient. I need to have I need to solve a problem by having my data flow in this particular way. That is EAI. But then now, how do you actually solve the problem? What tool are you going to physically implement into the business? Whether it be MuleSoft or the Azure or the Apache Kafka, those are the examples now of the actual integration platforms. The platform is a software that you're actually going to use to implement the EAI. You get me?
I understand it now, sir, more clearly.
Mhm. Okay, cool. So integration platform is the actual software that you're going to use, where EAI is just the idea of how to implement software integration, not software integration, an integration platform, or that you would implement using some integration platform. Make sense? Yeah. Okay. So let me
Yes,
see.
sir.
I have a few examples. Um, I guess this example that I had that was supposed to help to get it make sense. If I said Grace Kennedy wanted all their systems to share data automatically, is that EAI or integration platform?
That would be
Hear
the
an answer from
EAI,
both of you.
sir.
Okay, so Tariq said EAI. Damoy, what do you say? The prompt
Um,
was if I said Grace Kennedy wants all of their systems to share data automatically. That's EAI or is that some integration platform?
they want to use what?
It says if Grace Kennedy wants all their systems to share data automatically.
EAI.
Okay, so that's EAI. Because EAI is just the end goal, is what they want to do. But now if I said something like, If they bought MuleSoft to make it happen, that then would be integration platform, because the integration platform in that case, the software tool, I mentioned a particular product that you'd use to implement EAI, which is MuleSoft in this case. So anytime I make mention of a particular application name, we're talking about the integration platform that they're going to use to actually implement EAI. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I should have had this on screen the whole time. My bad. Oh yeah, I'd mentioned the MuleSoft, which is owned by Salesforce, Azure Integration System, which is owned by Microsoft, IBM Integration Bus owned by IBM, and Kafka, which is open source. So these are different examples of integration platforms that enterprises can use to achieve EAI, basically. Okay. Oh, by the way, you guys have access to the course container yet? So that when I post these slides, you have access to them?
No, sir.
No? Oh, I think Tariq does, but the more
Yes,
doesn't.
sir.
Yes.
The more you're not
No,
gonna make
sir.
nice.
Sir,
Get load.
sir, me even know.
I'm not hearing you.
Sir, I don't even know what to say.
Don't
Because
know. Mm-hmm.
because they did give me the override and everything, so I'm seeing the courses in the area, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
still not seeing anything on my canvas. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing it's something about registration because I already paid everything. So I've thought that it would just automatically show up by now, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I think it should be automatic. But I mean, the fact that it isn't, because I mean, we're in the end of week 3 now. I've been posting stuff on Canvas, and it would help suppose I decided to have a quiz on Tuesday. How you'd manage? Because I imagine you didn't have access to the recordings either, don't it?
No, sir.
Yeah, so you need to get on top of that. I can see if I can do anything at all on my end, but I doubt I'd be able to
No,
do
sir.
very
I think
much.
it's just that they need to confirm that I'm registered because I paid for everything. I did my
I get you.
overrides. So
Right.
it's just the
The only thing
registration.
left for you to do now is nag them.
Yeah.
You need to nag them every
Yes,
day.
sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Cool. All right, good. Remember, you're paying your money. You need to get the stuff that you are owed since you pay your money. Okay, let's run through these to make sure that we're on the same track now, or on the right track, on the same page. So let's practice. I'm going to do another thing, similar to what we did at the end of last class. I'm going to read some scenarios again, and for each one, you're going to tell me whether I'm describing EAI or an integration platform, and you can tell me why. All right, let's look at the first one. How many do we have? We have 6. Okay, cool. A hospital's board of directors describes that when a patient checks in at the front desk, their information should automatically appear in the lab system, the pharmacy system, and the billing system. No manual reentry. No more manual reentry. What is that? Is that EAI or is that integration platform?
So like EAI, sir.
You can tell me why?
Because it's the methodology,
Mm-hmm.
but not the means, not the
Right.
platform.
Then why? What about you?
Same, I think.
Okay, you think. Okay. Um, I don't like that you say you
Yeah,
think.
yeah, yeah, sir.
All right, I'll take your word. So in this case, this is just a business decision about
Yeah,
connecting applications. Yeah, I didn't mention any specific tools. Yeah,
yes, sir.
it's just what we're trying to achieve that they're talking about in that scenario. All right, the next one. MuleSoft receives patient records from the registration system in the XML format and then converts it into JSON that routes it to the lab system's REST API. I read it again. MuleSoft receives a patient record from the registration system in the XML format. It converts it into JSON and then routes it to the lab system's REST API. Is that EAI or is that an example of an integration platform?
Would be
You
the
shouldn't be
integration
hesitating for this.
platform.
Integration platform.
Okay, cool. So the tone is the integration platform, and you're very correct. So the very fact that I mentioned MuleSoft first, that should tell you already that that's an integration platform, because we know that MuleSoft is an integration platform. And we're not talking about a concept anymore. We're talking about how MuleSoft is actually doing the work. It's receiving information, it is transforming information, and it is routing data or routing information. So we're talking about the how we're going to do it. Not what we're going to do, but how we're going to do it. All right. Okay, next one is the third one. A retail company's CTO presents a plan to the board. All customer-facing applications, that being their website, the mobile app, and the in-store POS system, will share a single customer profile so that the purchase history and loyalty points are consistent everywhere. Is that EAI or is that an integration platform?
Yeah.
What about
I'd say the
Terry?
same, sir.
It's the same thing. Tell me why.
As usual, it's a strategy to be implemented.
All right. So it's just a plan. And I said the keyword, I said plan. So I said the retail company's CTO presents a plan to the board. So it's a plan of how to get something done. It's not the actual software, the actual tool that we're going to do it. And as you say, it is a strategy. Very good word to use. Strategy being presented to leadership. It's about the business goal of connecting applications, not about the specific tool. All right? Good. Okay. And I'd mentioned, okay, skip that part. So Apache Kafka is streaming real-time inventory updates from 50 warehouses to a central dashboard, handling 10,000 messages per second. What is that? Is that EAI or is that an integration platform?
Integration platform.
I'd say the same, sir.
Tell me why.
It's a tool to be implemented, which will be
Okay, good.
Apache Kafka.
Okay, good. Right. Okay, so the last two, it should be pretty easy. A university decides that when a student registers for class in the student portal, it should automatically update their financial account, their library access, and their email distributions list. What is that? EAI?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't need to ask why, because I just basically mentioned a concept a while ago. It's the institutional decision to concept these applications. It is the what should happen. And then the last one now. Azure Integration Services monitors all data flowing between the university's 5 systems. It logs every transaction and it sends alerts when a message is failed to delivered. Failed to be delivered. A message fails to deliver. Why can't that? What does that sound like?
Integration platform.
Tariq, do you agree?
I'd say so, sir.
Yeah, because I mentioned Azure Integration Services, which is the tool itself, monitors all the flowing data. So we're talking about how it's actually going to do it. Good. So you're correct in saying it is an integration platform. Azure is the tool that is doing the monitoring, the logging, and the alerting. So we're talking about how it happens. Good. So we notice the pattern, right? Whenever I'm talking about describing a business goal or a decision about connecting applications, that's EAI. But if I'm talking about if I'm describing a specific tool doing the work of routing, transforming, or monitoring the messages or the data or the information, that is an integration platform. All right, so now here's the final piece. In the real world, you're almost never going to see one without the other. An organization adopts an EAI strategy, and then they select an integration platform to execute that strategy. They're two sides of the same coin. But in an exam or a professional setting, you need to know which side you're talking about. So I would imagine that by now we're supposed to solid, right? We're good. We know the difference. We know how to identify the two of them.
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Okay. And that's a yes from Damoy as well?
Things? Yes, sir.
Oh, bro. Yeah. Okay. I feel like you're just being modest. I feel like you understand it, but you're being very, very cautious. because
Yeah,
you did
just in
good
case I
enough
ever
job.
get anything wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I'm like that too. I wish I wasn't, but so you go. But okay, I understand.
But I think I can. I think I could
Yeah, man.
identify them.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think you
sir.
can too. I think so too. All right, good. Okay, so that was the end of last week's lecture. And believe it or not, I think what we had ended at well, like 15 minutes left with class time. I think it was a 7:45. And we actually had more slides to go, which is this particular part here. But yeah, I decided to give you guys the break because I needed the break too. But yeah, so what we're going to be looking at now is the skills required for systems integration. All right. Okay, so we're shifting gears. So far in the course, we've been talking about concepts, talking about types, and also methodologies. But systems integration is done by people for now. And those people need a specific mix of skills. There are 4 key skill areas that you need to be familiar with: software engineering, hardware engineering, interface protocols, and problem solving, as I have on the slide before you. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't about being an expert in all 4. Frankly, nobody is, or it's very rare for one person to be. It's about understanding all 4 and having um, real in-depth knowledge of at least 1 or 2. Real-world integration teams are built with people who complement each other. One person might be the API expert. You're gonna have another person who might be the network infrastructure guru. You have the project lead. That's the person who's strongest in problem-solving skills, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna look at each one of them. Okay. So we can start off with software engineering skills. I would imagine that by this point, you would all be at least some kind of familiar with software engineering. So software engineering for integration is not quite the same as your regular software development. You're not usually building a whole application from scratch. Instead, you need to understand how applications are built, their architecture, so you can figure out how to connect them. And there are 3 areas here. First, software architecture. You need to understand how applications are structured internally. Is it monolithic? And when I say monolithic, what I mean is it one big application, or is it microservices? And microservices means a lot of small independent services. Have you guys heard of these different types of applications, monolithic applications as opposed to microservices?
I haven't, sir.
Haven't? No? Okay. Let me see. Do I have examples? The only example, all right. All right. You guys use Digicel or Flow?
Well, sir.
Use Flow. You ever use Digicel yet? How about you, Dama? You use
Digicel,
Digicel?
sir.
Use
Digicel.
Digicel. All right. I can talk about Digicel because I used to work at Digicel. So if you use Digicel and if you've ever used the My Digicel app, you'll see that the My Digicel app has a bunch of different features. You can pay your bills in the app. You can put on credit on your phone. You can buy data plans and you can check your balances. Each one of those features is actually handled or processed. Each one of those features is actually supported by an individual service or an individual application running behind the scenes on Digicel's back end side. So it is not just one big application that then just write the code for and just deploy it. They actually write different code for different applications and they deploy them separately and independently. And all of these different applications, they talk to a central application, or rather not even talk to. It's one central application talk to them. So this would be an example of the middleware one, the horizontal one, where there's a single entry point and that entry point will handle all the messages and it will handle all the routing and it will determine which application is supposed to handle this particular request. So if you use the MyDigital app and you're making a request to pay a bill, the single entry point application will make a request and send that request over to the bill pay service application. And the bill pay service application is going to handle that request and process it and return some response to the user. If you want to check your balances, that will go to the balance service application, which is entirely separate from the bill pay application. If you want to buy a plan, how you buy a plan again? I think that goes, does that go to balance service? How you buy a plan again?
So you mean like straight by the plan or put on
Well,
credit and
no.
then buy the plan?
Well, I'm trying to remember which application in Digicel actually handled plan purchasing. Because I had access to all the different applications. I don't remember which one of them allowed you to buy the plan, Part of me feel like it was the entry point, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But yeah, bill pay was a service. Balance service was a service. I don't remember how to buy a plan, but the other one was, what I said a while ago. Bill pay, balance service, buying a plan. Was there a fourth one? Oh, putting on top up. What was the name of that application? Top up service? It wasn't top up service, but there was a whole application that you used to top up, separate from all the other applications. And all those applications were abstracted away from the user behind the MyDigicel app. Yeah. So that's what I mean when I say microservice. It is a bunch of different servers running independently that are connected through one central entry point. So that's an example of a microservice. And then a monolithic application would just be if you had one big API or one big server application that just handles everything, right? So there are two different ways of handling your data, I guess, depending on what it is you're trying to do. And there are pros and cons for each one of them. But that's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the skill required to make the decision on how to get the data connected between your systems. Right, so we're talking about the monolithic and the microservice. Another thing that you'd also need to know about your applications before you can implement these skills, you'd want to know where the data lives. You'd want to also know how the components are organized. You need to know this because you're looking at where to plug in. You want to know where the connection points are, right? So all of these things you need to know. You need to know whether the application is a monolithic, if it's a microservice. You need to know where the data is stored. You need to know how the components for this application are organized. You need to know where you need to implement your particular integration, where you're going to plug in. All right. Did I lose anybody? Or we're good?
Good, sir.
All right. Am I good too?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. All right, the second thing now. So that was the first thing, software architecture. The second thing is APIs, or the application programming interface. APIs are the door to the application. Sorry, mistake. APIs are the door that applications open for the system to communicate with them, right? So you make a request to an application, you go through the API. The API is the door. If the API doesn't allow you to go through, then you never get into the application. So as a systems integrator, you'll spend a lot of time reading API documentation and figuring out how to use the APIs to move data between the systems. If you've ever used an API in a programming project, maybe pulling data for a weather service or a payment gateway, then you've basically done integration work. The enterprise version is the same concept, just at a much larger scale. The third thing that we need to know is data exchange formats. So I've talked about a few of them in the past. I've talked about your JSON, your XML. I don't think I've ever talked about CSV or EDI. But as an integrator, you need to be fluent in reading and transforming these formats. These concepts this connects directly back to the common data format integration type that we discovered in the first session. These things sound familiar, right? And you can understand how these things connect back to the common data format. Can I get a yes or no? Or is it still? Come again?
So yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So that was the three that we'd have talked about. Okay. So the hardware engineering and interface protocols. Integration isn't just software. You need to understand the physical infrastructure as well. Can the network handle the data volume that you're planning to push through it? Are these servers compatible? Is there enough bandwidth between the locations? This is particularly important in Jamaica and the Caribbean, where some organizations still run older systems. Connecting a modern cloud platform to a legacy mainframe from the 1990s requires understanding both worlds, the shiny new cloud and the old hardware that hasn't been running reliably, or rather has been running reliably.
Sure. Tyreek.
Yeah.
Before that, we need to get to know about it. We'll start with the
Wait,
first.
sir.
Okay,
Sir,
yeah,
sir,
go
wait,
ahead.
wait, wait.
Mhm.
So you were gone for like a while ago.
Oh, okay. Where did I lose you? Oh, I was gone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
whoops, my bad. Didn't realize. Okay, where was I? Did you hear me talk about? I'll start from the top. So yeah, integration is not just software. You need to understand the physical infrastructure. Um, there are a few questions you need to ask yourself. First question is, can the network handle the data volume that you're planning to push through it? Are the servers that you're trying to communicate between compatible? Is there enough bandwidth between the locations to even send the data? And this is particularly important in Jamaica and in the Caribbean, where you have organizations that are still running on systems or still running on old systems, right? So if you're trying to connect a modern cloud application to a legacy mainframe from the 1990s, it would require understanding of both worlds, the new and the old. You have the shiny new cloud, and then you have the old hardware that's been running reliably for the last 25 years. So it will require you to understand both sides of the systems. So what I was saying is we need to talk now about the protocols. And the protocols are the languages that the systems use to talk to each other. Just like how you and I need to agree on a language to have a conversation, the systems need to agree on a protocol. And what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be talking about the 4 protocols that we need to understand for these types of integration. And I have the 4 of them on screen at the moment. So we're going to start from left. We're going to talk about REST. REST is the most common modern web protocol. It uses simple HTTP requests, and those types of requests are get, post, put, and delete. REST is lightweight and it's widely supported, and it's easy to understand, at least in my opinion. And if you've done any web development, you would almost certainly most likely be familiar with REST. Are you guys familiar with REST? Have you encountered? You did some API. The last time I asked you about APIs, you seemed a little bit hesitant. Have you ever done anything REST related?
No, sir.
No. So if I say post request, that don't mean anything to you? No? Or get request
No,
or
sir.
delete request? No? All right, that's fine. I
Sir, we
wonder.
mostly use Visual Studio and just created JavaScript files, and then what we did was take the files and put it I don't remember what we did use, but we used like some some website where we put in the code and everything, and then it just Derek, you said?
What was the name of the website you used to launch your
So
application?
I don't
Remember?
remember.
Sorry. I stepped off a bit.
Hmm. I was asking the question if you guys are familiar with REST. And Domoy was telling me about his web experience where I think you were talking about writing your
Mobile
code
app.
to build a website and then you go to some other website to make your website a website. Is that right?
No, make the application.
Make the application.
Or
And you're
something.
not sure which site you had gone on to do that?
No, sir.
Like you don't know if
But
it was a net.
to turn the website into application,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like one of those HTML to APK sites.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you meant?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. That's not exactly what I was talking about, but all right, it's fine. We will see if I need to get very in-depth with it. Because I think it would help if you guys had examples. But I'm not sure if we need to go that deep into it. I guess. All right, we'll see. All right. Right. So I was saying REST is the most common web protocol, and it implements HTTP requests, different types of requests. The four major requests are the GET request, the POST request, the PUT request, and the DELETE request. It's lightweight and it's widely supported and it's easy to understand. Yeah. Okay. The next one, similar to REST, it's a little bit older than REST, but it's called SOAP. What does SOAP even stand for? All these stand for something, you know. I don't know what them stand for. Let me see if I can find out what REST stand for. REST don't make any sense. REST stands for representational state transfer. So the RE comes from the word representational, and then the S is state and the T is transfer. And then SOAP, let's see what SOAP stands for. Because I've used both of them before, I just don't know what they stand for. No, not that. SOAP stands for, that can't be right. Subjective Objective Assessment Plan, that's not right. SOAP in computing stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. Okay. And that's an XML protocol. That I knew for sure because I used to use XML when I did SOAP. But yeah, SOAP is an older, more formal protocol that uses XML. It's heavier than REST, but it has built-in security features and transaction handling. So you'll find SOAP implemented in banking systems and government systems where formality and security matter more than speed. I used to use SOAP back when I was working at Digicel, which isn't government and it's not bank, but I guess security was something that they cared for a lot. I used both REST and SOAP when I was working at Digicel, so I guess different teams had different requirements. But yeah, so that's SOAP. The next one is MQTT, and I've used MQTT as well. Not very much, hardly ever, to be honest. But anyway, MQTT is a lightweight protocol designed specifically for IoT. With IoT, you guys familiar with IoT, the Internet of Things?
Like IoT devices, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
you're familiar with IoT devices, yes?
Yes, sir.
So like like when you
Yes,
have your
sir.
smart fridge and your smart this and your smart that, your smart TV and your smart air fryer and your smart all these smart things. Those are, we call them Internet of Things or devices because they're not computers, they're not phones, they're just things, they're appliances, and they all have internet connectivity. So those are Internet of Things devices, and very often you'll find that the protocol that those devices use to connect to networks or communicate with other devices is MQTT. So think like sensors, smart home devices, industrial monitors. When you need to send small messages from thousands of devices, but you're limited by bandwidth, MQTT is a tool that you're going to want to use. And then the last one, the fourth one, is WebSockets. WebSockets enables real-time two-way communication. Regular HTTP is like sending a letter back and forth. But WebSockets is like a phone call. The connection stays open and both sides can talk at any time. The example I gave a while ago where I said regular HTTP is like sending a letter back and forth. That would be more like your REST, where you can send a message and then you get a response, and then you send another message and you get a response. But WebSockets is different, where it's not just sending a message and getting a response. It is an open line that anybody can just talk on at any point in time. Yeah? So it's continuous communication. That's WebSockets. Where was I? So we use WebSockets to power live chats or real-time dashboards, like your live football scores or a stock ticker in the trading market thing. You know that thing I'm talking about, right? Like when you're trading stocks, the stock tickers, the thing that scrolls over to the side and you see the numbers changing in real time. So they use WebSockets to implement that. because it needs to be real time. Okay, I can give you a way that you can remember them. Wait, do I agree with this?
Yes, sir.
No, it's not you. I was reading my notes to see if I actually agree with what
Oh,
the note
sir.
says. Hold on, sorry. So it says, think of them as a family. SOAP is Rest's formal older brother. Okay. More rules, more structure. MQTT is Rest's tiny cousin, designed for small devices. And WebSockets is REST, but the connection stays open for live updates. That is interesting. I can't say I disagree with this, but I'm not sure if it's going to help you guys to remember this, unfortunately. Did I make it easier? I don't think it did. You can tell me if it did, though. Did it
No,
make
you
it
can
easier?
repeat them.
Repeat,
Okay, what I
sir.
said was, all right, so SOAP. SOAP is the one that's super formal and has a lot of security rules, right? So SOAP is REST's formal older brother. SOAP has more rules and it has more structure. MQTT is REST's tiny cousin because MQTT is built for smaller devices. Yeah. And then WebSockets is basically REST, but the connection stays open for live updates. I wouldn't blame if that didn't help at all. But I guess you can tell me. Yes or no? Did it help? Not really. It's all right if it didn't help. We can probably get into it differently. I
Not
think the
really,
best
sir.
thing, yeah, I understand. That's fine. I really feel like the best way to understand it is to give you examples. So I'll go into see if I can give you some examples, maybe next week, if anything. All right. Let's move to the next slide, and I'll come back to it if anything. Wait, where am I? Wait. On slide 8. Problem solving skills. Okay, this is off by 1. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so problem solving skills. Just a while ago, we had gone through was software development. No, sorry, that was the hardware engineering and the interface protocols. What we need to do now is look at the problem solving skills. How many slides do I have? Oh, not very many. It's soon done. Right? That can't, right? It's all right. Anyway, so problem solving skills. So this might be the most important skill of all. And it's the one that you can't just learn from a textbook. Integration projects are messy. You're dealing with multiple systems from multiple vendors, each with their own quirks, their own bugs, their own undocumented behaviors. Things are definitely going to go wrong. So it's your job to figure out why and fix it. There are 3 dimensions to problem solving and integration. The first dimension is identify. Recognize that something is wrong and narrow it down where the problem is. Is it a data format issue? Is it a network issue? Is it an authentication issue or a timing issue? The first step is to always figure out what category the problem falls into. So that's identify. Analyze now, or an analysis. Dig deeper into the root cause. And I'll tell you from experience that it's rarely the first thing that you suspect. A message that fails to arrive might not be a network problem. It might be that the receiving system silently rejects messages where the date format was day, month, year instead of year, month, day. The message gets there, the message will be transmitted from one system to the other, but the system that receives it throws it away and it doesn't tell anybody anything. So you have no idea why it happened. You just know that it never reached and you're asking instead of why. The third skill is troubleshoot. Troubleshoot meaning to systematically test the solution. And the keyword in this case is systematically. Don't change 5 things at once. Change one thing at a time and then test and see what happens. Use the logs. Try to reproduce the problem in a test environment before you try to fix it in a production environment. We know the difference in a test and production environment. Have you heard those words before? Like if somebody ever tell you, don't test in prod, you know what I mean?
I think it. Yeah, I think so, sir.
Tell me what that means to you. If I say don't test in prod. Prod, Prod, or prod.
So you're talking about the production area versus the testing area.
Okay, what is production area?
The area where, well,
I
the
can
work
understand
is,
it. Go on.
it's like is the place where the work is being done, like the actual
Okay, I
trademark
understand
or something
where
like
you're
that.
coming from, and it might be the wording of it.
The wording.
So anytime you hear production, you will think about that as the customer-facing environment. So that is the live environment. That's where the application is actually being used by real people, real customers, real
Like the
clients.
front
That's
end.
production. Well, I'm gonna okay. I understand why you say front end, but production doesn't only mean front end. It just means the final version of the application that is being used by
Yeah.
by people. So the
So
app that you're
it's like the
using,
conveyor to like make the finalized product, while the
the
testing
finalized
area
product,
is
yes.
where.
The finalized product is production, but the prototype or the testing, that's test or
Yeah.
development. Yeah. So
Oh, I
like,
understand that. Yes.
yeah, okay, good. So you'll have two different versions of the same application. One that you as a developer is free to mash up and build up back as you please because this environment is meant for testers. You're free to do any kind of testing that you want, but you would not want to do any testing in the production environment because let's say, for instance, you have an app and you want to test out push notifications on this application, right? And you send a push notification that just is a keyboard smash. You just hit the keyboard and hit send. And then millions of users that are using your application get this notification that just says a bunch of garbage. You think that's good? Like, is that good practice? Would you want to do that?
No.
No, you wouldn't want to do that. So that would be an example of you testing in production. You cannot test in production. You have to test in the test environment or the development environment. That way, your users, your end users that are actually using this application aren't seeing things that they're not intended to see. Even worse, if you do a test and your test in results in the application going down, if you accidentally bring the application down, what you're doing is losing money. So the longer the application stays down is the more money you lose. So testing in production is something that can result in downtime or errors, things that you don't want to have happen because you don't want to be losing money as a business. So that's what I mean when I say you don't test in production. You test in the test environment or the development environment. You do not test in the production environment. That good?
Yes,
Yes?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, so here's something we're thinking about for your careers. In a job interview for a systems integration role, they're less likely to ask you, define EAI. What they're more likely to ask you is, tell me about a time you had to troubleshoot a complex technical problem. This is the skill that separates good integrators from the great ones. Yeah. Okay. So we talked about identify, analyze, and troubleshoot. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a quick activity. This activity is called Fix This Organization. This one is going to pull together everything from the entire unit, all the stuff that we've covered so far. So the integration types from session 1, the methodologies from session 2, and the concepts from Tuesday's class that we just did a while ago, and the skills that we just covered. So again, set the scene. Tell me when you're ready. You ready? All right. Wait. Do I need to have you guys read this or can I just read it out? Let me see. Is it a lot? Kingston General Hospital has 5 major systems that were each brought from different vendors. All right, I might need to put this on the screen. Hold on, let me put this on the screen. But it's a leap. One sec. That's slide 9. Kingston General Hospital has 5 major systems that were each bought from different vendors in the past 15 years. Okay. One sec. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Whoops. Okay. Tell me if you can see this. It's clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Kingston General Hospital. Kingston General Hospital? Isn't it Kingston Public Hospital, KPH? It has 5 major systems that were each bought from different vendors over the past 15 years. Patient registration is a legacy system from 2010. What do you mean 2010? That's not legacy. That was just the other day. So anyway, legacy system from 2010 that uses SOAP and XML. Lab results is a newer cloud system using REST and JSON. The pharmacy runs on a standalone Windows application that can only export CSV files. Billing uses another older accounting package that reads flat file imports. And then the doctor's electronic health record is a modern cloud-based EHR system. So right now, none of these systems talk to each other. Nurses have to manually print the lab results and walk them to the doctor. Prescriptions are handwritten, because prescriptions are always handwritten. But then they're typed into the pharmacy system. Billing will receive a folder of paper forms at the end of each day, and patient data is entered separately into each system. The hospital board has hired you as an integration consultant, and your job is to fix this. Let me see, what do we need to fix? So we're going to work through this together. I have 3 big questions for you, and we'll take them one at a time. So I'm going to leave this on the screen so that we'll have this to reference. For each one, I want to hear from everybody. And by everybody, I mean both of you. And there's no single right answer. I just want to hear your reasoning. So here's the first question. What integration type should we use and what methodology? Think back to the first session where we talked about vertical, star, horizontal, and common data format. And the things that we talked about in session 2, where we talked about Big Bang, incremental, top-down, and bottom-up. What makes sense for the hospital with the 5 disconnected systems that can't afford downtime? Remember, it cannot afford downtime. So I'll give you a few minutes. I want you to think about it. I'm not rushing you. So the question that you're trying to answer is based on the information you have on screen is, what integration type should you use and what methodology? So I want you guys to think about it, like write down whatever you need to write down. And I want you to come and I want you to give me your understanding. So I want you guys to take a few minutes to think about this. And if you have any questions, you can ask me if I need to clarify anything. So and keep in mind that this is a hospital that cannot afford downtime. It is 7:15. I will ask you at 7:18. And remember the methodologies. Sorry, wait. Yeah, the types will have vertical, star, horizontal, and common data format. And then methodologies are Big Bang, incremental, top down, and bottom up. Mm. Tell me if you think you need more time or if you're ready to present. I want to say present. I'm not talking anything serious. Just give me some thoughts. Need more time or we're good?
Probably more time, sir.
How much more time you want?
Uh, 3 minutes.
3 minutes. All right. Any questions for me? Any part of it you want me to clarify or anything like that? No? Okay.
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
would all right. So based on the fact that you're saying it's a hospital,
Mm-hmm.
uh, so that would mean that we can't have any amount of downtime.
Very good. That's correct. Go on.
So, uh, the bottom up strategy be able to be used.
Okay,
Although
tell me why you say that. Tell me why you don't use bottom up.
if you're starting from the bottom, that would mm, that would start it off with dealing with everything in the background quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So it would cause a lot less time constraint or things like that. So it'd be
Mm-hmm.
easily deal with the heavier sides to everything
Mm-hmm.
before going on to the forward section. So since we're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with a lot of things to do with the patients
Mm-hmm.
and their information and like their health and everything like that, it would be
Mm-hmm.
better to quickly deal with it from the back end before
Mm-hmm.
going forward.
Okay. All right.
But I was mm,
I hear your thoughts. What about oh, that was the methodology, wasn't it? Yes. Wait, that was the methodology, right? Yes, it was. What about type? Did you tell me what type you wanted to choose? What type of system integration? Remember the types?
yes, sir. I remember the types, the vertical, horizontal,
Mm-hmm.
and everything.
Terry, did you want to
Uh
talk?
Sir, I'd say for the type, I'd say the common data formats
Okay.
as in the scenario
Mm-hmm.
with I'm again the patient or legacy system that uses SOAP and XML, but the lab
Mm-hmm.
result the newer cloud system using REST and JSON.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you don't a common data format so both those data formats can go in and you can still get it exported.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. I
And
hear
for
you.
the implementation, I'd say the bottom up too, because you don't want to work on the back end first.
Mm. Okay. All right. Damo, you had something that you wanted to add? I think you were not finished yet.
yeah, sir. I wasn't sure about what one to use. I wasn't sure. I don't know why, but my mind was going to Big Bang, but then Big Bang could have a load
Hmm.
of problems afterwards,
Right.
which is not something that the hospital would want
Want exactly. Yeah.
because that would
If
cause
not
a
Big
lot of
Bang.
problems later on, especially since it's legacy systems we're
Right.
using. Or
Mm-hmm.
upgrade from that upgrade to other things would cause a lot of problems
Mm-hmm.
later on, and
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of fixing that hospital can't deal with. So I was either going to go with a hybrid or
Mm-hmm.
the same thing probably as Terry. No, probably a
Mm-hmm.
hybrid. Probably a hybrid.
Okay. Okay. I see. All right. Let me see. Okay. You mentioned a while ago Big Bang. And the first thing that you had mentioned, the more specifically had mentioned, or he had reminded us that this was a hospital. And with a hospital, we cannot afford any downtime because downtime means that they cannot see any patients, right? So while they are down, closed off from the public, working on their implementation of integration, that means them can't make any money. And that's not good for them. So that's why we would not go with the Big Bang integration methodology. Yeah. So we both of us agree on that, or rather, all three of us agree on that.
Yes, sir.
And you guys both said that you would have used. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can remember.
The
Let me
bottom up.
switch back to yeah. The both of you had said bottom up, which is the methodology. Oh, Tariq had said common data format, but Damoy, did you tell me what type you'd have chosen?
I'm not sure, sir.
Okay, not sure. All right, no problem. All right. So common data format. Oh, by the way, there are no wrong answers. Except spaghetti. Spaghetti is definitely wrong. We never want spaghetti.
Yeah,
And you
yeah.
guys
So
know
I
this.
was, so I was
Right.
realizing if they do that, is a load of
Right.
complexity without me.
Exactly. And in this case, is what? Is it five different systems?
Five of them, sir.
Five
Yes,
systems.
sir.
That means with five systems, you'd have 10 connections, right? And if you add one more, I don't remember how much that is, but it would be enough. I think it's what, 14? I'm not sure. But anyway, it would be enough. So we don't want spaghetti. And I guess technically Big Bang would also be wrong in this case because I specifically said, you said hospital. So we don't want spaghetti, we don't want Big Bang. So that's good. All right. Let me tell you the way I think about bottom up and top down as well. To me, the way I think about them, they are both quite similar to Big Bang. But here's the difference. With Big Bang, you close off from everybody and you say, yo, give me 6 months. And then after 6 months, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna just show you this brand new thing, right? So nobody hears from me, nobody gets to see me, nobody can see what I'm doing for 6 months. And then at the end of the 6 months, I flip the switch and say, see it here, brand new hospital. That's Big Bang. But to me, bottom up and top down is similar to Big Bang, where we're still working on all the stuff, but it's just that we're working in a glass house where people can see the things that we're working on. So to me, bottom up and top down, I'm still closing myself off in terms of nobody can use the systems at all while I work on it. It's just that while I'm working on it, you can see what I'm doing. From bottom up, as you said, we start from the back-end systems first and we work our way to the what's it called? The customer-facing systems. So for a long time, the people that are going to be using the applications, they will not be able to physically see the changes that you're making because the backend systems don't really have very much visuals for you to take note of. The forward-facing systems, the customer-facing systems, those you can see because those you can actually interact with. Those are the apps and the websites. The reason I wouldn't go with top-down or bottom-up is because we're still kind of closed off from anybody using our applications or our systems. It's just that they can see what they're going to be getting before they get it. So it's for that reason why I would go with the incremental methodology. The incremental methodology that says you don't close off and work on all of the systems at the same time. You work on each individual system one by one. So it would be a case where billing still works as it's supposed to. The pharmacy still works the way they're supposed to. And the cloud-based EHR system continues to work as it's supposed to. While I will probably go work on the lab result system. All right. So I'm working on the lab result system while everything else is working. And then when the lab result system is finished, I'm finished working on it, I test it by inserting it into the existing system and make sure that it is compatible with everything else. Once I've finished and confirmed that my newly implemented lab result system is working, then I move on to billing. I'll work on billing and I'll finish work on billing and I'll take my newly implemented billing system and I'll insert it back into what already exists and make sure everything still works exactly as it's supposed to. If everything still works, I will go to move on to the next system. And you keep going like that until the entire integration is finished, right? That way, you have limited downtime. In that, if it is a case where you are busy working on one singular part of the system, at least the other systems are still working. And maybe it's a case where you'll be able to have maybe a workaround for the system that you're currently working on, since people who are dependent on it won't have access to it. Maybe they can find a workaround until I finish working on it. And then when I finish working on it and I confirm that it's working, meaning it still fits in the hole that I left while I was working on it, then we still have a working system. It would almost be as if, well, I'm not going to say it would be as if I never took it out, because there was a time where I took out a small part of the system while the rest of the things were working, right? So yeah, I incrementally work on one system at a time, incrementally. And because I chose that methodology, I would also lean more towards the, not the command data format, but the horizontal bus system, particularly because in a case like this, where in order for me to implement the common data format, I would probably have to change the fact that one of my systems is using SOAP. And if I have a system right now that is using SOAP, and it is currently using SOAP and XML in the system as it is now, when I take it out, change it and make it use REST instead, then some other system down the road is going to have to adapt to the fact that it was using SOAP before and now it is using REST, right? So that means in order for the other system that was dependent on it to work, I would have to then change it too, which means I would have two systems that are unusable. One that I just fixed and the one that is incompatible with the fix that I just implemented a while ago, which is going to be a problem. So now I have two systems, maybe more, that cannot work because of a change I made to one. So in a case like that, where one of the systems implementing communication using SOAP and XML, I don't want to keep it using XML, but I probably want to implement some kind of, what was it, horizontal? The horizontal implementation, where I have a central bus that is able to read the XML and transform that data into something that is usable by the REST and JSON system. And that is also usable by the CSV system. You guys know about CSV, right? CSV is comma separated values. It's just another way of representing data. Yeah. So I'd want to keep the format that the system already inputs and outputs, but just have another system that is its job to transform the information so that it can be used to communicate throughout the rest of the systems. So it is for that reason why I would choose horizontal and incremental. Tell me if what I say makes sense.
Yes, sir. Understanding it.
Okay, good.
So
Okay.
would the incremental cost more though?
Cost more?
Or
Why do
it
you
would take a
say?
longer time?
I can't remember. There were some concepts that talked about which one took longer. Oh yeah, I think we did talk about. I think you're right. Incremental takes longer because we're working
So
on
it takes
each
longer than the Big
system.
Bang, but we're not sure about
Right,
like how long it takes over for the
right. Okay,
other.
Bart, do you tell me what's worth more to you? Making sure that you're absolutely certain that each individual thing works when you're done implement it, or you make one big change and hope that it works at the end.
No, that's big. No, that's Big Bang.
Yeah, because Big
That's
Bang is
just
you
Big Bang.
make one big change and you hope it work.
Yeah.
As opposed to you take long and you take time and you work on one system at a time to make sure that it works, even if it's going to take long. Which one do you think is
Yeah.
worth more to you?
Yeah. I think it would be preferential to have it.
Yeah.
Take like everything, make sure everything right.
Right. And even though you say it's going to take longer, consider the fact that, yes, it takes longer for the entire system to be implemented or integrated, right? But you don't have to wait until integration is done before you can start using the system. You can continue to use the system while incrementation is going on because you're not pulling down the entire system. You're just incrementally making changes to one system at a time. So even though it takes longer, you don't have to wait for everything to be done for you to actually use it. You can continue to use it while it is being changed. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, yes, it takes longer, but we're not losing anything while we wait.
Oh, I understand.
All right, real good. Okay, let me see if I can find a particular slide to help you with this next question. One moment. Was it this? Or was it this? This is the same slide. Hold on. Where's last week's slide? Not last week, Tuesday gone. This one. This one. Was it this? No. It was this. Okay. Right. Okay, cool. So with this in mind, I want you to tell me, where's the button? Oh no. Did I close it? Oh, no bad. It was this. Okay. This. All right. I want to keep both of them on the screen at the same time because I want you guys to have access to I'll just type them out. Why am I being lazy? One sec. So down here, I have CI. I have EAI. I have integration platform. Integration platform. I have ICC. I have systems. Integrator. Cloud integration. Oh no, that space. Integration. And the last one is interoperability. Interoperability. Okay. These 7 concepts that I went through in Tuesday's class. I want you to tell me, and it is not just one, but which of these concepts would be very relevant for us to consider when we're taking on this integration solution, this integration project. Which one of these things would we need to be considering very closely? Do we need CI, continuous integration, based on the information presented to you? Remember what we talked about CI was?
Uh,
What do you think? Remember, when we're talking about CI or continuous integration, it focused mainly on making sure that the code that we write for development was tested continuously, making sure that the quality was always good, instead of writing a bunch of code for 6 months and then at the end we do one big test. It is a case where every time you make a change to the code, you want to make sure that it's tested and it is what was the other thing? It was testing and something else. Built and tested for quality control. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah. Would we need CI in a case like this? Like considering a system where we're trying to make changes to a hospital? Yes or no? Tariq, what you think? The more need your assistance. Tariq, what you think?
Sorry, sir. I was away at the moment, so
Reggie, come on. I was
sorry,
asking
sir.
the
I
question
couldn't
if you
help
think,
it.
yeah, if we in this situation where we're looking at the hospital, I'm asking
Mm-hmm.
you, of these 7 concepts that we'd have gone through in Tuesday's class, I want to know which one of them would be most, not which one of them, but which of these are most relevant when we're implementing this integration project. So
Or
I'm going through them
integrating
one by
it?
one. Yeah. Do we need to be considered with CI, continuous integration? So I'm just going
I'd
through them
say
one by
so.
one. Can you say why?
Um,
Let me see if I
to
can find
update the system to handle the legacy system and so on.
that. Does sound like CI to me. Hold on, can I find the
Uh,
CI slide?
the way I'm thinking about it, sir, like say you're implementing the new system alongside of the legacy system, but
Mm-hmm.
because it's a new system, it might arise with problems with the legacy system because
Mm-hmm.
they're not made to be the legacy system itself is not made to operate with a newer system, so they might
Mm.
they might encounter errors in the future. So you want to continuously integrate and so.
Okay, I think I get what you're saying. And I can't say that you're wrong. I guess typically the way I think about CI, it usually has to do with, as the slide say in front of us, automating code integration. So it has to do with testing and deployment of smooth system updates, right? Catching problems
Mhm.
early and often. So every time you try to make a change to your code, you run it against some tests that you have already pre-implemented. And every time you make a change, you run it against these tests. And it is something that's continuously done over the lifespan or the life cycle, the life of the application development. And I guess because I'm thinking specifically about a code environment, I would not typically expect,
Like patches and updates,
yeah.
sir.
I mean, yeah. Well, not just patches. Yeah, patches and update kind of, but I mean, like also in the event that you're building this application to be used for the first time. So it doesn't have to be an existing application that you're making changes to, but it can be a brand new application that we're trying to bring to market. So again, like I said, there are no wrong answers. You gave a pretty good explanation for your reasoning. Well, I guess me personally, I just think about CI in a development environment or coding. I would not have put it in this case, but I understand your reasoning. So you make a good point. All right, what about EAI in a case like this? Remember, we talked about EAI a bunch in the first part of class. What role does EAI, if any, have in this integration project?
That would be the methodology you'd find to how you're going to implement it.
So it's a strategy or the plan that you're going to use to integrate it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a problem here, and we're told how the system currently works. You need EAI, you need a strategy, you need a plan, you need some kind of concept in mind to be able to implement the changes that you want to, right? So definitely EAI is going to be required in this case, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And since we said that EAI and integration platforms are two sides of the same coin, the fact that you agree
The
that we need
integration
EAI
platform.
means we also need to going to have to implement some kind of integration platform software to perform the EAI, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So yeah, if at any point you're asked about EAI and the answer is yes to EAI, then you know that integration platforms is also going to be needed as well. What about ICC? Do we need ICC in this case?
Yes, sir. I need ICC.
Do we need ICC? Let me see something.
Wouldn't it be a case where they're getting it from outside?
Right,
I'm not
exactly
sure,
that I was thinking.
but I feel like it's outside help that would be
I
asking
was
for.
thinking the same thing.
So we're not thinking about anything internal, sir. No internal parties.
I
It
I'm
Only
could
trying
be
to remember the
external.
internal, but we're
wording.
not sure. But
Yeah,
based
based
on
on the
it,
wording, I think it was
yeah,
supposed to be external because you are the one whose job it is to fix this problem. And I don't think we were said to own or to work in this hospital. What are my slides? Is this? Oh, it's the same slides. Okay, yeah. So I would say that ICC is not particularly going to be a part of this, specifically because the hospital is the one that is hiring us to do this. Hold the phone. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't have anything. Um, yeah, KPH. Let me go back to this. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, yeah, see there?
yeah, they're
Integration
hiring
consultants. Yeah.
us.
So it's external.
Yeah,
So that's why we would not be considering ICC in this case because we don't work for the hospital. Yeah. Make sense?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Systems integrators. That one should be pretty simple. Or we should be able to agree or disagree on whether system integrators is something that we need to consider in this case. Can you say? Yeah, integration platform.
Would we be
Guys,
the system integrator?
I
Yeah,
believe so. Yeah, we are the system integrator because we are the
yeah,
consultants, aren't it?
yes, sir.
We're the ones that are going to be doing the work. Hold on, let me check my notes. Hold on. There's a platform. Mhm. I mean, unless I don't understand what systems integrator is, because I don't see it in my notes as the answer or part of the answer rather. But I'm pretty sure that's going to be definitely in it. Let me see. Systems
Sure,
integrator,
because
an individual or a
ICC
company.
is the
Yeah, of
ones that
course.
are internal.
Exactly. Right. And system integrated external. So yeah, regardless of what my notes say, I know that system integrator is correct. Because here, system integrator external firm, hired for a project, brings in expertise, specialist expertise. So yes. And you already said why. So yeah, that's correct. Okay, good. Next one. Cloud integration. Is that something that we're going to have to consider in this particular case?
Yes, sir.
Tell me why.
Because they were saying the doctor's electronic health records
Mm-hmm.
is cloud based. It's a cloud based
Mm,
system.
I
So we
see.
need to work with integrating that cloud based system into the and cloud system, other
Very
cloud
good.
systems with each other.
I sincerely agree. Tariq, do you agree?
Yes, sir. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Come again? I didn't hear what you said.
I say yes.
I would also say yes. So we have some part of our application, not the whole thing. Some part of our application or our system is going to be dependent on the cloud. So we need to be able to make it so that our existing systems, our legacy systems, are able to communicate effectively with our existing cloud-based systems. So yes, we would need to consider cloud integration in this integration project. And then the last one, interoperability. Is that something that we need to make a mention of or be considering in this integration project? Let me put that on the screen. I can find those notes. It's just here, yeah. So the ability
Yes,
for
sir.
different systems.
To
Yes, sir.
exchange the
Yes, sir.
data.
They are exchanging data. The more you're saying something?
I would say yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Interoperability.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, continue. Yes, sir, Terry.
So yeah, man, as the both of you are saying, interoperability is the ability for different systems and applications to exchange data and use the data meaningfully.
Yeah,
So
especially since a few of them possibly using different
right,
things.
right. They're
So
using
you need
different
to,
protocols.
yes, sir.
So we'd be able to achieve interoperability by probably in this case putting in the middle layer or the middleware, which is the horizontal bus implementation. So even if it is a case where each system isn't able to communicate directly with another system, we have some middle layer or some middleware that can take the message of one system, convert it, and make it meaningful to another system. So we're able to achieve interoperability by implementing some middleware. Yeah. Make
Yes, sir.
sense?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Let me see something. Blah, blah, blah. The students only mentioned to council. Okay, good. Yeah. So that was question 2. Right, yes. And the third and last question before we wrap up. What skills would the integration team need? And if the hospital could only afford to hire 2 people to this project, what expertise would you prioritize? Let's go back to the expertise. We had these. So these are the 4. And if you could only pay 2, let's not even think about the pay 2. Let's think about what we need firstly and foremost. Do you remember what we said about
Software
the most?
engineering.
Okay, software engineering. Or remember what we said what the most important one was?
Uh, Interface.
Mm-mm. That one is not the most
The
important
problem
one.
solving.
Problem solving is the most important one. Because if you can't problem solve, nothing else is going to be helpful to you, right? You can have all the software engineering experience and hardware engineering experience in the whole world. But if you don't have any problem solving skills, you can't implement it because you're not going to know what to do, right? So problem solving skills absolutely is going to be one that we definitely need to have. You mentioned software engineering. Tell me why we need software engineering.
So you can set up how the systems are going to interact with each other
Mm-hmm.
and the formatting and everything that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
needed. So if
Mm-hmm.
one is using a different data format from the other one, the software
Mm-hmm.
engineer will be able to understand what will be needed in order to convert it or
Mm-hmm.
make any changes needed
A lot of answer.
so
Very good.
that they
Yeah.
can connect with each other.
Okay. I'm getting a little bit nervous because I'm not seeing how we could potentially only hire 2 people to do this.
Yeah.
Because then you have
If
software
there's only
engineering,
2 people, they'll
but you
be
kind of
left
need
off certain
networking, right?
parts.
Come
Yes,
again?
sir. You leave out certain parts if you're only hiring 2 people to do
Mm-hmm.
problem solving. It could be a thing where
Mm-hmm.
both people know to do this problem solving,
That is
and
true.
then they would have the
Mm-hmm.
mixture of like one person does the problem solving, and then the other person, well, one person does the problem solving, and they do the interface and the
Mm-hmm.
protocols. But
Mm-hmm. They're kind of rough.
mm,
Let me see. Hold on. I'm gonna cheat by going into my notes and see.
Probably the interface protocols. No.
Uh,
Tariq, what you say?
yeah, what you say, Tariq?
Yeah, repeat the question, sir.
I was thinking
Which
of the
which of
four.
these two would
Yeah,
be
of
all
the
right, so
four. If you could
let's
only hire two people, which two
yeah.
would you choose?
The software engineering and the problem solving.
All right, tell me why.
The software engineer going to be able to engineer and understand like the architecture of the system and so,
Mm-hmm,
and the
mm-hmm,
problem solving person going to be able to fix it when needed.
mm-hmm. Okay. Well, problem solving is more of the
And the problem solving
mastermind.
Identify.
person probably has expertise in other fields as well as the hardware engineering and the software.
All right, all right. I'll take your word. That makes sense. Okay. I agree. All right, look at one of the things that the green one says, hardware engineering, where it specifically mentions legacy systems. And we do know that in this problem that we have here, one of our systems, which one of the
Legacy
systems is a
system.
legacy system? Is it the lab results? Which one of them was it again? Which one was the
Billing.
flat file import? This one. We'll use an older accounting package that uses, yeah. So this one's a legacy system. So we do have an older system that whoever we hire would need to be able to understand how that system works. With a brand new software engineer that fresh out of UWI or Excelsior Community College, you thinking you know about the old billing system? I mean, it's not impossible. He or she may know about it. But it might be more important for us to get somebody who definitely knows about
Modified.
it. You get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think maybe hardware engineering would have to be at least one of the people. And let me see, what does my notes say? What's the other one? So my notes does say that we should get a hardware engineer. Somebody. Oh, this also says APIs and protocols. So that would be, wait,
Software.
what? APIs and protocols? But that's software and an interface. So which one is it? So, oh, it looks like it's saying one or the other. So choose one, either software engineering or interface protocols. Hmm. And you know what? I think I get why. If I had to guess, I'd say it's because there's kind of a bit of an overlap sometimes. So like when you're learning your software engineering, you are likely to get exposed to the different protocols and interfaces that our systems can be using in the systems. So I do think that there is going to be some overlap. So I guess based on that, I would say, yeah, probably choose one or the other. And then you know what? Speaking of overlap, a person that is good in software engineering, hardware engineering, or interface protocols should have some problem solving skills, right? So it's a
Yes,
Yes,
case
sir.
we
sir.
can just trust that everybody here know about problem solving. And we need to
Yes, sir.
focus on the important things, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So in a case like that, I would choose hardware engineering and also I think I choose interface protocols. So I think I choose the two middle ones, especially because the system has a mix of different protocols that we need to be able to integrate. So I'd get somebody who's good at legacy and good at good at different protocols. That's it, what I would choose personally. Yeah. But yeah, there are no wrong answers. And I think any two would probably be really good in this case. But yeah, that's just my opinion. How we stay? We're good?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay, real good. All right, let me see if there anything else that I need to cover real quick. 5 minutes. And this is now the new record for the longest class so far. All right, hold on. So we cleared up the difference between EA and integration platform. We did the hospital case study. Yeah, I think that's it. So yeah. Yeah, I think it was a good session. Um, is there anything I need to say that is not class related before next class? Oh, I did say that I was going to talk about coursework, but I don't know anything more than I did on Tuesday, so I'm probably going to have to try think of some stuff over the weekend. I did get some samples that I should be able to share, not share, like some actual coursework that I can actually give to you guys, but I'm not sure when that needs to be issued just yet, based on the delivery plan. But yeah, I'll get back to you on that. You guys have any questions? Y'all good?
All good, sir.
Yes,
Mhm.
sir.
All right, cool. All right. What was the name of the third guy again? Big up him. Yeah.
Ramin?
Romain Higgins.
Hey man, I hope he's benefiting from these recordings. And I hope he's jealous that we're having so much fun in class without him. A joke. All right, cool. So we'll talk on Tuesday. Yeah. See you
Yes,
guys.
sir. Take
Enjoy the
care.
weekend. Hey man, you too.